Hey everybody, it is John King. It is voucher day. I was hoping this day was going to come. I am super happy, excited that it is here. If you are on the waiting list, this is the day that you have been waiting for. So let me give you a quick refresher here. Cal HFA issued vouchers back at the end of May. Every winner got 90 days to use their voucher, and Cal HFA gives everybody the ability to get an extension for an additional 90 days. And I have said many times on many live streams and many videos that I've been doing, and I've said, look, I think that given the fact that Cal HFA issued more vouchers than what they had money for on purpose, we weren't going to see much movement off of the wait list. And we didn't. Literally nobody came off of the wait list that I know of prior to today. Yesterday, I got calls this morning, so I'm assuming it came out today. And nobody got off the wait list. And a lot of people kept asking me, John, why is there no movement off of the waiting list? What is going on? And what Cal HFA learned this time, that they didn't know 2 years ago, is that every person does not use the voucher just because they got it. They also know that every person does not use $150,000 even when they do use the voucher. And so statistics class teaches us about probabilities and all of that stuff. And so they're basically able to run the math and say, well, gosh, if we have enough money for 1,000 people to use $150,000 a piece, then, and I'm just using simple, I'm guessing on the numbers. Well, we know all of them aren't going to use it. Maybe only 50% of the people we give a voucher to are going to actually use their voucher. So therefore, we'll give out 2,000 vouchers. And then they say, but the average person also uses only 2/3 of the money. Therefore, instead of 2,000 vouchers, we can give 3,000 vouchers, even though we only had $150,000 worth of money for 1,000 people. That's how the statistics played out, which means Cal HFA was planning for people not using their voucher. And so every time that somebody canceled their voucher or used a voucher for a smaller dollar amount 2 years ago, they would issue a brand new voucher right away. They'd say, hey, we have room to add another voucher. It's kind of like when you roll out the cookie dough for making Christmas cookies and you stamp out the Christmas cookies. And then once you stamped out all the cookies you got extra dough left over, you ball it back up and you can make some extra cookies. And that's what Cal HFA did 2 years ago. And so we saw vouchers being issued all the time. Right after it was released, we would see more vouchers on a daily basis. People were coming off of the waiting list. That didn't happen this time. And I was a little bit nervous. I had said a few times, our first real opportunity to get somebody off of the waiting list is going to come when the first 90 days expires. But that depends on how many people don't renew. Cal HFA in the past and this year, they offered extensions. They were calling everybody who had a voucher. Do you want an extension? Do you want an extension? Go in there and click the button to get an extension. And so Cal HFA was encouraging it. And so I was a little nervous that we weren't going to see anybody coming off of the waiting list. But we saw wait list numbers significantly moving. Today, I know that at least 54 people in Los Angeles County got off the waiting list because I was contacted by somebody who was number 54 on the waiting list, and they got a voucher today. Now, Los Angeles County is the largest county in the state, highest population. They got the most number of vouchers. I would expect the biggest movement to happen in Los Angeles County. So if you're number 40 in a different county, like, well, John, I didn't get a voucher, I wouldn't surprise me that other counties have less movement because they have less numbers of actual population. Therefore, a smaller percentage of the number of vouchers are going to go to those smaller counties. It is proportionate to the county in which you live in, and it's not county specific, it's regions. Some large counties are a region in themselves. Los Angeles, San Diego, those are regions and counties. Inland Empire is a region, but it's multiple counties. Bay Area is a region and it's multiple counties. Rural is the biggest geographic region with the most number of counties, and yet it has the smallest percentage of the population. And so they lumped all of them together. And so you are on the waiting list. You were, or still are, on the waiting list based upon where you live, and not just what county you live in, but what county that represents in the regional breakdown. So if you say, well, John, I was number 22, how are you saying number 54 got their voucher and I didn't get mine? Because you're in a different region. And so the vouchers are being issued by regions. Here's what I expect to happen. I expect that we got a bunch of vouchers issued today. I don't know how many. I don't think any more vouchers are coming out again until November, okay? It was proven over the first 90 days that Cal HFA, I know of people who canceled their reservations and yet no new vouchers were issued. So Cal HFA statistically says we're counting on some fallout. What they got was more fallout than they statistically counted for. Now, they haven't told me that, but that's the only way that they're issuing more vouchers, is because they have more money or the pot of gold has grown and that they have more funds because the money that they got from the general fund a year ago, that money's been invested. And those investments grow and they can use that higher value of the investment to issue more vouchers. So there's a lot of moving parts here, but I'm happy to see that we got more vouchers issued. Now, if you fell into the stink hole, okay, I grew up playing cribbage and my mom always said the stink hole was that spot right before you win and somebody else comes in and they win ahead of you. So if you're in that spot right before the winning spot and you are number one right now, here's the bad news. I don't think you're going to see any movement until November. The good news is I think you're going to see movement. Good news is I think you're going to get a voucher in November, but based on what happened over the last 90 days, I don't think CalHAF is going to issue any more vouchers until November, because what happens in November? Everybody who got a voucher in May, their voucher will expire and cannot renew, cannot renew. I have 5 or 6 clients right now that have vouchers that have credit issues. And we're trying to figure them out. We're trying to get their credit scores higher. We're trying to find a way to get them qualified. And then once they get qualified, then get them a home. Some of them aren't going to get their credit high enough. Some of them are going to get their credit high enough, but they're not going to find a home in time because they've already lost half of their time. We've just hit the 90-day timeline, and now we're still trying to find a home or get them qualified. I've got other people who still need to file their taxes to show more profits so that they can qualify. Okay. Now, here's where, if you are a winner, you just got off of the waiting list. Number one, congratulations. Number two, we need to set up a strategy session. If you got pre-approved with me, awesome. If you didn't get pre-approved with me, I strongly encourage you to set up a strategy session with me. I thoroughly understand this program and I can help you to determine the right way to use your money. And I'm very good at getting listing agents to understand the program and accept your offer, which is a critical piece of this, because now that you have a voucher, you have to now get to the next step of actually getting an offer accepted. And I've had many Dream for All buyers, including right now in the last 3 months, who a listing agent says, yeah, no, I'm not willing to move forward with this. It's just, I'm afraid of these programs. It's new, it's different. It's not something that I'm comfortable with having my seller get into. And so I'm just going to move on. We have other offers out there. We're going to take one of the other offers. And it's critical that you've got a lender that can get ahead of that. Even with my good communication, I've got websites and materials and videos, and I call the listing agent immediately and I'm explaining it all to them. Even with all of that, I still have people who are saying, no, I'm not feeling comfortable with this program. Even though I've made it clear, I've closed 65 of these in the last 2 years. I don't know of any lenders that have closed that many. Maybe there are, I don't know. But I know the program very, very, very well. And I should say there's lots of lenders who have closed that many. I don't know any loan officers who have closed that many. I know the program very, very well. And so I want to talk with you. Even if you decide, you know what, John, I'm going to stick with my other lender. That is entirely your choice. But I have tools for you. I have an app that will let you run your numbers. It updates, and we update it every day with CalHAF's interest rates. And so it will allow you to run your numbers and see, hey, based on today's interest rates and the income that we put into the system, you can plug in your own system. You can use my app without even using me, okay? Matter of fact, and I think I have the link to my app here that I can pull up on the screen. Well, kind of, and that's probably the worst version of it. There's a better version. Okay, so you can go to californiadreamforall.info and my app is up at the top. You can click the link and get my app. So my app is a calculator, And the first steps is you plug in your income. You plug in what you think your credit score is. You plug in your debts. And then it tells you, hey, based on what you plugged in and based on CalHFA's rules, this is what you would qualify for. Now you can use the app to run numbers and say, wait, I want to qualify for I want to know what is the highest price I can go with this exact monthly payment. And so you can qualify at a specific monthly payment. You want to say, hey, what is my payment at this exact purchase price? You can do that. Or you can say, what is the most I qualify for based on my income, my debt, my credit? What do I qualify for? Now, you're never going to get a pre-approval letter from my system. I need to see your income. I need to see your debt. I need to see your credit. We do a soft credit check to run it. We don't do hard credit until you're in contract, but you need to go through those steps. And then every time that you're going to write an offer, you want to update that. Does the property have an HOA? Are there Mello-Roos on the property? What have interest rates done and how does that change the numbers? And then how do I want to use the money? Because there's 3 very specific ways to use the money. You can use the money by what most people think is the only way, which is, well, the state's covering 20% of my down payment and I'll pay the closing costs. That is one way to do it. But the truth is you can include the closing costs in your loan. And a lot of people are doing that. A lot of people, when we look at the math, and you can see it on my calculator when you go on there, and you look at the math and you say, how much is my payment if I'm coming up with all the closing costs out of my pocket versus how much is my payment if I am financing the closing costs into the loan? What that means is we're taking some of the money that the state was loaning you for the down payment, and instead of putting that towards down payment, we're putting it towards closing costs. So now you are borrowing more money against the house because we're including the closing costs in the loan amount, essentially. But the difference in payment's pretty small. Now you gotta be careful because now you're gonna owe more on the house than what it's worth today. But the truth is you were planning on paying those closing costs anyway. Now you've saved that asset, you've saved that money. And so it's just shifting where you have the asset, where the money is at. And then the third scenario is you want to put the most money out of pocket. You say, John, I want the lowest possible monthly payment. I want to add to my down payment. Awesome. The state caps you at 5% of your purchase price as additional down payment on top of the closing costs. So if you said, I want to buy a house and I want to put as much down as I possibly can, and you're buying a $500,000 house, well, then the state says, awesome, we're going to loan you $100,000 for your down payment from the Dream for All program. You can add up to 5% of the purchase price or $25,000 to that number. So that means that your total loan amount is going to be $375,000. That's the most you can put as a down payment that gives you the absolute smallest monthly payments. And you can then buy down the interest rate further. CalHFA allows for what's called temporary buy downs. They allow for permanent buy downs. I'm an expert in talking through those scenarios. You can schedule a time to talk with me, scan the QR code right there, or go to the link and there's a button for book a call with John. Again, no obligation. I want to talk through the scenarios. I'll show you how to use my calculator. We'll run some numbers together. I am for sure interviewing for the job of earning your business as your loan officer. Okay, so there's no obligation, but I'm doing it for the purpose of earning your business. I hope that I can demonstrate that you are in the best hands with me and that no other loan officer is going to give you the best chance to use this program that is a one-time opportunity to the best of the ability that we can make it happen for you. And so that's my goal for you. And so as a quick recap, vouchers have been reissued, more vouchers have been issued. If you don't have a voucher yet, but you move down on the waiting list, my bad news expectation is you got 90 more days before you're going to have a shot. Okay, the state proved over the last 90 days they did not give vouchers to anyone who they didn't give any vouchers out during even when people were canceling their vouchers. They waited until the expiration. That pattern tells me that we're going to have more vouchers coming out in November because the people who got their vouchers in May, that's their last chance. People, you guys getting your vouchers right now, some of you aren't going to renew in November. And so that's the next opportunity for you who are still on the waiting list to get off of the waiting list. But this is the best news I could have expected. I was nervous and had said multiple times, Guys, I don't know if we're going to get any voucher movement in August. I think we're going to for sure have voucher movement in November, but there's a chance CalHFA doesn't get any new vouchers in August. I am glad that that wasn't the case. I'm super happy that we have at least 54 people in Los Angeles, and that means that we've got good amount of movement. I don't know how many total. I don't know if anybody else on here, or if you're on here right now and your voucher moved down, whether you got a voucher, I want to know where you started at. And if you moved down, I want to know where you started and where you're at now, and what region or county that you're in, because that will help me get a feel. If you're watching recorded, plug it into the comments anyway, and I'll pick it up later. But that helps you give me a feel to, hey, where are we at with movement across the state? Because right now, I just know that we've got calls from many people saying vouchers have been issued, that they have a voucher. If you got one, congratulations. Scan the QR code up above and schedule time to talk with me, download my app. If you're on the waiting list, then you need to reconcile the fact that it's probably going to be another 90 days before you have another shot, and that I don't think we're going to see any movement off of the waiting list in the next 90 days. If you're not in the lottery at all, you don't have a wait list spot, you didn't get a voucher, then the question is, when am I going to have a shot again? We know for sure there was no money in the budget that was released on July 1st. So the budgets come out every year on July 1st. That budget covers the following year. So basically, the budget year goes from July 1st through June 30th. We're going to have a new governor next year. I don't know what that new governor's opinion is going to be. I don't even know who the new governor is going to be. And so that's going to be a big piece of this. That new governor may be very pro housing programs, and this is a program that already exists that all they have to do is throw more money at it. So in that regard, there's a good chance we're going to get more money next summer, which would mean a lottery in the spring of 2028. We are not going to have a lottery in the spring of 2027 because that money would have had to be allocated last month. And there was no money allocated last month. So there's no lottery in the spring of 2027. The question is, all of you who are on the waiting list, if the waiting list still exists in the summer of 2027, and if there is money that's allocated in the July 2027 budget, well, CalHFA already demonstrated last year that they are going to apply that money and give everybody on the waiting list a voucher. So that's what you're praying for. If you're on the waiting list, that is what you're praying for, is that the waiting list lasts long enough to get through next summer, and that money is added to the budget next summer for this program. And then by historical patterns, I would expect CalHFA to issue a voucher to everyone who is on the waiting list. And that's a great opportunity for you, but it's an unknown. It's a significant unknown. If you are way down on the waiting list, you don't want to wait to buy, you aren't on the waiting list at all, and you don't want to wait 2 years for another lottery, we have many, many other programs. We have many down payment assistance programs that can still get you into a home with zero money out of pocket. I've got a new program right now that you can put 3% down of your own money and you pay no mortgage insurance. Now, you have to either be considered low to moderate income, or you have to be buying in a low to moderate income census tract, low to moderate income neighborhood. But as long as one of those two things are true, and it's only for specific counties across the state. So let me validate that. And if you're in one of the counties that this money is allocated to, it's an amazing program that gets you into a house. You have to have your own 3% money out of your pocket, but there's zero mortgage insurance on this. Zero mortgage insurance. That's a huge amount of savings with only having 3% down. So there's examples of programs that I've got that can help you to qualify, even if you don't have the voucher for the Dream for All program. Guys, I want to make sure that I'm educating you. Now that we've got new vouchers released and new people, I'm going to do a lot more videos over the next week, reminding you guys of how this program works, of the things that you need to know, encouraging you to really get a thorough understanding of this program, and encouraging you to reach out to me so that I can help guide you personally. So if you want to get a consultation set with me, scan the QR code up here, or go to the link up above, and you'll be able to book a call there. You'll be able to go to the link for downloading my calculator. The calculator is free to use, even if you don't use me for your mortgage. Although if you're using my calculator, I'm just kidding. Anyway, I want you to have all the tools. I want you to have the most success that you possibly can. I appreciate you tuning in. Please comment if you have any questions, and I will get back to you and reach out to me so that I can help advise you and get you your brand new home. So thank you so much for listening. Reach out if you have any questions. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful weekend. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye-bye.